I've actually been wanting to speak, not this lawsuit, but other lawsuits that have been happening in regards to Kanye West. I did speak about him and Bianca's relationship, who is his new wife. I spoke about their relationship and how she is like eerily similar to Kim. I have covered him a little bit in the past, but I haven't really gone into any exploration of his court, of his lawsuits that he's got filed. And believe it or not, he's actually got a number of lawsuits filed against him. And there's one that has just come out recently where his ex head assistant, so he has a few, but he literally titled her like head of staff or something a bit like that. Her name is Lauren. Her surname I cannot pronounce, and I really do not want to butcher it. Pisciotta or Piscotta. I will be just calling her Lauren, even though her last name is all over the lawsuit. So she is now wanting to take him to court for a multitude of different things, not carrying through with payment, harassment, locking her in a room with him, and him doing some acts to himself in front of her, like things like that. So I will leave the lawsuit, like the actual papers, just all the filings, I'll just leave it there because I'm not going to be going through them. I'm just going to be going through some talking points because this isn't the very first time that stuff like this has happened. Now, Kanye has come out recently, literally within the past day, and he's come out and he said that this is extortion and she is blackmailing him and she's just after his money. I feel like for the most part, I'm quite good at separating the art from the artist. However, nowadays, there are so many things that he is being accused of that just kind of get pushed underneath the rug. So I just want to go into a few of them, just stuff that I'm aware of. I'm aware that I don't know everything. I found the lawsuits that surround him quite interesting because I feel like people are still going to his shows, people are still praising him and still thinking of him as, yes, he says some problematic things, but at the end of the day, like he's got a lot of humor, and I feel like that just that then overshadows what he is being accused of and what he has been accused of just in the past year alone. I would also like to give honorary mention to his ex-wife, Kim Kardashian, who decided to debut this ridiculous Big Bird costume, which is so similar to the one that her daughter and Kanye's daughter, Northwest, wore to the Lion King celebration. Like, she's just trying to, whatever. I feel like I can't talk about Kanye West without talking about Kim Kardashian and her stupid Big Bird costume, but she's just digging her heels in and trying to be a proud mum, and I get it, I'm a mum too, I understand. But there are good reasonings as to why people are annoyed about her exploiting her child and telling her that, yes, she can do anything and hyping her up and buying her into things. So I do feel that, yes, some critique is necessary. Don't be mean about the child. It's not the child's fault. It is firmly Kim and Kanye's fault. And Kim and Kanye were actually together. They were both together. They went to this event together, so it's not just her fault, it's also Kanye's fault. So straight off the bat, Lauren reportedly said she had worked on a Yeezy fashion line and West 2021 album Donda before being hired as a personal assistant later that year, working for a salary of $1 million. Now, on the side, she was also an OnlyFans model, and supposedly that used to rake in about $1 million as well. Now, I believe that Kanye hired her with him knowing this, and then tried to make her stop being an OnlyFans model when she was working for him. At least that's what I take away from it. The former assistant alleges that West would send her explicit text messages and photographs, a video of himself having with a model, and instructed her to deliver him a raunchy performance enhancement honey before his sexual encounters. I don't know what that is. Is that like I can't say half of these words because YouTube hates it. Is that like a coming up enhancement for your like downstairs area? That probably sounds even worse. She alleged that West would call her to discuss work matters, but would play around downstairs while on the phone, and in one instance actually did do the downstairs work in front of her while the two were enclosed in a room that could not be opened from the inside. And there's also a matter of pay. It says like she used to work for OnlyFans, and then he then tried to get her to quit. He instructed her to delete the account in exchange for $1 million so she could become more godlike. I will also say as well is that there are text messages. I'm reading this off of Forbes because they're able just to deliver the key talking points. It's a lot easier rather than me sitting here and reading out a whole thing to you. But there are text messages involved. These text messages are really not good. They're really not good, and I can't repeat them because I don't even know how I'd be able to censor them. But yeah, they're not good. And by not good, I don't just mean in like a raunchy, what are the words I have to say for YouTube? Not just like in a raunchy erotic, like really not good. Okay, like really not good. And then she was abruptly fired in October 2022, just 1 month after being promoted to chief of staff for his companies, and never received a promised $3 million severance package. So what I do find quite interesting about this, right, is that he got married to Bianca, who is his now wife, and it says 2022. I believe they had a fairly quiet ceremony, because when I looked it up, it said like alleged 2022. Whether or not they're like properly married, I don't really know, but I find that relationship really quite bizarre. And she also has like fashion input for Yeezy, so she does model some of the clothes, but some of the stuff she goes out in, I do have to side with people when it feels like sometimes, not always, it does feel like some sort of a humiliation tactic. There's also people that say that allegedly she actually has power of attorney over him. I don't know if that's true or not. I've tried to find documents to back this one up and I can't find anything concrete, but that is definitely something that's gone around as well. So that is very interesting.
Kanye West and wife Bianca Censori West continue to shock the internet with their looks, including so many Italian onlookers. Bianca was seen in her sheer tights look, but this time she was holding a cushion.
Now, Kanye West has actually responded. He has responded to this, and he put out a statement basically saying that she was the one coming on to him and that she's trying to blackmail him. She's after his money. There are literally tweets going around going like gold digger, like quoting his song Gold Digger. She's claiming he did these things to her. He's claiming that she wanted these things, or she did do those things, or she was like trying to get these things whilst also trying to get money. So yeah, there is that, but he has responded, and he responded quite quickly considering he hasn't really been responding to the other allegations. Now, I'm just gonna say, I don't want to give too many of my own thoughts and feelings about this. I just want to present what I know. What I do know is that there was actually one of the reasons why he left Adidas, for instance, wasn't just because of the anti-Semitic comments, largely to do with that. It was also largely to do with the fact that he was doing some very questionable things, showing the employees some very questionable things, and generally being a bit of a menace around the Adidas thing. And this came out a little while ago. So for instance, a month since Adidas severed ties with West amid a hail of hate speech, more than 24 former Yeezy and Adidas staffers have described to Rolling Stone an abusive office culture that left many of them fearing for their livelihoods. Behind the scenes, this celebrity boss did more than test the boundaries of professionalism. Former Yeezy and Adidas staffers and creative collaborators claim that he played nography? You understand what I'm trying to say? Nography. To Yeezy or Korn, to Yeezy staff in meetings, discussed Korn and showed an intimate photograph of Kim K in job interviews, and showed an explicit video and photos of Kim, as well as his own tapes to Yeezy team members. Now, a revelatory open letter by prominent former members of the Yeezy team insists that leaders from Adidas were aware of West's problematic behaviour but turned their moral compass off, raising questions about whether his corporate partner could have stepped in years ago.
What do you have to say to people who resent your success based on some things you've said they disagree with?
That's the whole thing. They got the right to their opinion. I got the right to my opinion. You understand what I'm saying? We all have the rights to our opinions, but so many people will lose their jobs, lose their careers for taking the steps that we took. We went down for like a year and a half. You know, people think that I got, you know, kicked out of Adidas for the tweet. We were having problems before. They were stealing my designs. They still trying to sue me. It's like, get right. No, get right, be honest. Y'all gonna send me $100 million a year, then say that I misallocated the marketing. I was the marketing. Look at where we at right now. Y'all wanna play? You're not gonna have me nap on the board. These companies, Gap, Balenciaga, they just wanna use the celebrities and have us be like the polo man on the top of the horse. And everybody knows, everybody felt what I felt. I even said the apology and they still with me. You know what I'm saying? I said apology. Some of the stuff I was saying was true. So until y'all come up and say, yo, what he was saying, some of that was true, then go ahead with all that.
By Lauren coming out and alleging this stuff, this is very well in line with what former employees of, you know, or current of Adidas and Yeezy have been saying. It's very in line. The thing is, if this is all true, people do let it slide quite a lot more. I have noticed this one. People do let a lot of what Kanye has said and done slide. I think because he's a very talented artist. I'm well aware, and I'm not using it as an excuse, but for instance, if he is unmedicated bipolar, if he was, this is just a thing, that's obviously going to affect the way that you like function day-to-day life. Yeah, like I take medication for a high dose of medication for anxiety and depression, so I understand that if I were not to take that, it would affect my like mental functions. However, it is not an excuse, and obviously bipolar, and that you cannot compare those two things. I'm just saying that in terms of being prescribed high dosages of medicine, if you're not to take them, that will have a big impact. You can't use that as an excuse. Plenty of people that walk around with these mental illnesses or mental disabilities, plenty of people, and they don't go around doing this kind of thing. So we have to keep that in mind.
When you're bipolar, if you don't take medication every day to keep you at a certain state, you have a potential to ramp up, and it could take you to a point where you could even end up in a hospital and you start acting erratic, as TMZ would put it. When you're in this state, you're hyper paranoid about everything. This is my experience. Some people have other experiences. Everyone now is an actor. Everything is a conspiracy. You see everything. You feel the government is putting chips in your head. You feel you're being recorded. You feel all of these things.
And these are vividly realistic to you.
Yes.
The other lawsuit that I do want to touch upon, because believe me, and I think I'm actually missing a couple, but there's another one to do with his Donda Academy, where he has like actual students, like it's an actual school. So he has this like Donda Academy, and he was hit with a lawsuit from, used to work at Donda, and they were alleging that Kanye West was threatening that he wanted to like install a cage in the school, alleging that he wanted to like put kids in cages. He would scream and berate members of staff, threatening violence. There was also this thing where he would treat his white employees a hell of a lot better than he would treat his black employees. And supposedly with his black members of staff, he would scream at them, threaten violence.
Imagine if your school only allowed you to eat sushi, wear black clothes, and you had to sit on the floor. This is apparently what it's like to go to Kanye West's Christian private school in California, according to 2 former teachers, who apparently complained about how it's run before being fired without explanation. Named after West's late mum, opened last year, and it's not accredited. The 2 teachers say that the kids only eat sushi for lunch. They can't bring any other food in, they have to sit on the floor while they eat, and they can't use cutlery. Crossword puzzles have been banned, and they're not allowed to put artwork on the classroom walls. They also say no one's allowed outside during the school day, and that the doors are locked from the outside. The school's website says it accepts kids from kindergarten to grade 12, while at school it says they learn fundamentals, grow in their faith. It's 2 enrichment classes each day, which include world language, visual art, film, choir, and parkour.
In this lawsuit, it's pretty beefy, it's pretty long. One thing I will say is that it's like, it is very much a downward spiral. I swear to you, I'm not joking right now when I say that I actually found out about this initial lawsuit, like this upcoming lawsuit to do with Lauren. I found out about this through TikTok because people were reacting to it and posting, and they were getting hundreds of thousands of like hearts. So God knows how many views they were getting. If you type in Kanye West now, all of them have gone. All of them are gone. I didn't screenshot any of them because I thought, oh, I'll come back and I'll just see them later. They're not there anymore. And I can't work out whether or not it's my phone being funky or whether or not like someone's gone behind the scenes and gotten rid of these videos. But if you're one of those people that were making those videos, please can you let me know? Because I was trying to find like more clips that I could show you guys of other people discussing this recent lawsuit, and they are all gone. Not only that, but there's very few videos actually detailing any of these lawsuits. There's a few about him and Bianca and how Bianca walks around barefoot at Disney, or like in those little whatever they're called, but there's just none of the lawsuits and all of that. And maybe my phone's being funky, but I swear to you, they are not there anymore. And it makes me feel like they're trying to hush this up. I'll let you know if this video, like if this video suddenly goes, and you know the reasoning why. But all this is to say is that this is not the only thing that he has been accused of, and what he's being accused of from Lauren is very similar to what he's being accused of with what happened with the Adidas workers and the Yeezy workers, all very intertwined. And that is kind of the same with the Donda thing as well, with the Donda Academy, where, you know, he once again is berating members of staff. And in the text messages that Lauren was getting from Kanye West, he was making some very racial remarks about his downstairs region and just talking about race in a very raunchy manner, in a negative way. I can't repeat what they say, but they're really, really, really bad, which is very similar to, you know, what the Adidas workers then had to go through. Black members of staff were treated really, really poorly. And those kind of themes are still coming out in those text messages. There are too many coincidences with the stories that are being shared, that it does make it very believable, but I suppose we will wait and see. Hopefully this isn't something that Kanye West is just going to settle on and she'll just settle. I don't know, but I do feel like more people need to be talking about this. As you know, if it is true that he's like locking members of staff in a room and doing that in front of them, and then also sharing pictures of his ex-wife, like if all of that is true, then obviously that's just like absolutely atrocious. And I do feel like more people need to be talking about it. And more people were talking about it, but I can't find the TikToks anywhere. And it's a real shame because I wanted to be able to share them with you. But anyway, that's pretty much all I wanted to say. It's a very long video, but I hope you guys have a wonderful day wherever you are in this world. Take care of each other. Take care of yourselves. I will catch up with you guys in the next video.
I almost borderline like being sued because it's the only time where I can be myself.